For a long time, no one has seen it on screen. In the meantime, Duchess Sophie and Prince Edward are part of the British royal family's first guard, performing hard and growing in popularity. The path of Queen Elizabeth's youngest son from somewhat pompous disorientation to royal responsibility was significantly paved by his wife. On June 19, 1999, the wedding bells rang. In a relatively modest ceremony, 59-year-old Prince Edward and 58-year-old Sophie Rhys-Jones bound themselves in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. He, the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth, 96, and Prince Philip, 99. She, the daughter of a tire merchant and an Oxford secretary. An unusual couple who in their first few years caused much ridicule in the British tabloid press because of a few missteps. Today, the Duchess of Edinburgh in particular, and her husband are very popular among fans of the royal family. Thereafter the first defensive streamlined King Charles's monarchy, the 74-year-old did not lag behind but shone in the front row. A surprising phenomenon that royal expert Jenny Bond set out to find the clue. Duchess Sophie and Prince Edward, their marriage started with a scandal. At the very beginning of her marriage to Edward, Sophie made a serious mistake. At that time, the trained secretary still had her own PR company. In 2001, during what was supposed to be a business lunch, she fell into the chatter trap, occasionally making ill-considered remarks about members of the royal family and British politicians. The tricky part, your interlocutor was a reporter dressed as a sheik, who, of course, immediately turned piquant information into heartwarming headlines. Another interview with Royal entitled "My Edward is Not Gay" a little later topped off an already unpleasant debacle. Sophie doesn't let herself be fooled. But despite her scandalous entrance into the royal family, Sophie has above all shown one thing above all else: fearlessness and equanimity. Qualities that came in handy when she married a member of the royal family, as Jenny Bond stated in an interview with OK! Magazine. She believes that the Duchess was quite brave to be another royal bride. After all, she was aware of the less than glorious divorces of other royal couples. The sensational divorce of then Prince Charles from Princess Diana, 36, was followed by Prince Andrew, 63, and Sarah Ferguson, 63, and Princess Anne, 72, and Mark Phillips, 74, the final end of love. There is little incentive for love in the shadow of the crown. She has remained true to herself, compassionate and restrained. But Sophie and Edward had a minimal advantage over failed married couples. Bond believes they were mature enough to realize they were meant to be together when they married. She was 34 and he was 35. Besides, it is said that the bride of the Queen's son to this day is not distinguished by her outstanding appearance. Sophie has always been a gentle, kind being who quietly goes about her work without making a fuss, Bond explains. She has remained true to herself, compassionate and reserved, becoming almost a second daughter to the late Queen. And Prince Philip was quick to open his heart to his daughter-in-law. The journalist believes she earned the admiration of the late Duke of Edinburgh. According to her, for his son's wife there was a clear affection. Prince Edward's miraculous change of heart. Over the years, however, Bond had to change his mind about Edward. I always thought Edward was a bit pompous, but having seen him interact with the crowd at Buckingham Palace at the Duke of Edinburgh Awards and other performances, I think he felt more comfortable in his own skin, says the Royal Palace expert. He's much more confident in his role and great fun, especially with the kids.